Hello, Josefine here. This is part 2, working on a demonstration picture that I started in a workshop, added in the vase just there in part 1, which you can find in the links below. Sporting my new painting top. The mic. I got this painting top from my daughter Hope for Christmas. Thanks very much, Hope. And my mission is to cover it in colour by next Christmas. So I'll do that. It's really comfy actually. I can see myself wearing this a lot. So get used to it. Right, so I was wanting to use the cards and the jug for inspiration there to do a bit more to this painting of the flowers. I think I'll bring in some daisies possibly, and definitely some fuchsia, because I kept talking about them when I was painting the tulips. So I think some subconscious part of me really wants to connect in with the Irish roots there and do some fuchsia painting. So who am I to argue with that? Okay, there was a bit of a saga there when Maisie escaped into the garden, free of her cone and free of her lead. She's got Maisie has got, why is that dirty now? Must have been strewn. I think I put the red paint on the blue palette. Must still be a bit blue underneath. Okay. She got free there and ended up, there was a bit of a hoo-ha. I laid down the law about what to do and what not to do with Maisie. So hopefully now she'll right, so I'm looking at the fuchsia. I thought maybe if I had them kind of down here in that space. Alright, maybe one there. Do you know, I'm going to start with one up here. For some reason it seems like it's a good spot for it. Not directly opposite the daisy, maybe lower than it. No, you know what, I'm going to start with one down here. So I'll just do a little area of red from which I can extract the shape of the fuchsia maybe. I mean, this card is it's a collage really. It's made from a mixed media painting I did of fuchsia in the studio in the summer, and I remember being particularly gung-ho and kind of not caring, you know, about the outcome, which generally is a good place really for me to be occupying, because something surprising and new happens there, and I do like the result of that, but it's maybe not so clearly there isn't clear shapes of fuchsia there to work from. And again, actually that can be a blessing too, because often I remember Damien Callan saying this, my friend Damien, who's also an art teacher. I remember him saying that oftentimes a sketch will contain just the information you need, where a photograph might have too much information and just the wrong kind. You know, I've already selected what I see as being important in the fuchsia, and so in a way it should be helpful to work from a sketch more than a photo, because it's already half the job is already done. So I'm just extracting the shapes between parts there. Now there's a little bud, a fuchsia bud there, so I could leave some right there. And I'm lifting out with the damp, it's not dripping wet now, it's a damp brush, and I'm lifting out the shapes in between. So tomorrow's New Year's Eve, beginning of 2021. Gosh, I have a sore arm. Yeah, so I just want to wish you and yours all the very best for 2021. May it bring freedom and joy to your lives this new year, whatever that means for you, and whatever else you want it to bring. Okay, and I guess, you know, creativity would be a good thing for it to bring as well. She said, no, you're seeing an awful lot of my face there when I'm working. Could see a bit more painting than face. And you hardly need to see the jug anymore. There we are. I'll just leave you like that while I'm doing the fuchsia anyway. Okay, and then there's I love the way that the petals kind of dance out like that, and then the stamen extend down, like shooting down like beautiful missiles. Those are the kind of missiles we need, fuchsia missiles. There we are. Yeah, just getting a feel for it. I think I could do it getting rid of the red outline in the jug. And I'd probably make a bit more of the bud that's there. I quite like there being a bud. I guess the microphone's going to end up falling into the paint. Okay, I could maybe use some of that blue in the greenery as well, like the ultramarine blue. I am having to work at arm's length here, which isn't completely ideal. Well, arm's length is good, but if it's enforced and constant, maybe it's worth standing back regularly. Right, what was I going to do up there, I wonder? It's like something needs to happen up there. Yeah, I'll just put another, I'm going to put some white, and then I'll put another, I think I'll put another orange gerbera there. I don't want it directly up like it is just now, so that's why I'm going to put some white paint in the way of that. I'm running out of space on my palettes here. So the white paint is going to send it over sideways, and I'm looking at the sideways one here. So I want it to be there, the gerbera, and it'll just be a fairly loosely described one. Alright, maybe I could use some of this white paint in here as well to further emphasize the petal of the fuchsia, and possibly to the edge of this one. And there's one up there as well. Of course the paint is still wet. The fuchsia paint is still a bit wet. Right, so the orange for the gerbera would be a place to go next, I'd say. And I bought myself some kitchen paper. So we're okay for kitchen paper now. And it allows me to see if the paintbrush has got too much. You know, I can check the colour. Red is okay, because I'm just working with the orange for the gerbera next. And I'm going to make it read like the succinct one there, like there's hardly any marks. Okay. Alright, so I'll just do a few petals. There's one kind of in that direction. I mean, daisy is different from gerbera, but it's similar enough to give me some reference for an orange shape up here. And then a couple of petals going that way. You know, I think that's even okay as it is. I'll put a little touch of white into the orange to make the centre a little bit more orangey there. I mean, it's okay. It's not a botanical illustration, is it? By a long shot. Which is fine by me. Okay, so I'm standing back often here in order to really just suss out what's going on everywhere rather than get stuck in just one flower. And when I stood back there, I wanted to introduce some more darks in the leaves. Like here maybe. Okay, and now I'm going to use the same brush because it's got a dark colour on it to explain the centre of the fuchsia, which is purple, and I think purple mixed with blue will give me a good colour. for the center, nice and dark. Yeah, purple mixed with ultramarine blue. So that's actually called violet. It's the Winsor and Newton Galleria paint, and the color is violet. Okay, so I'm going to do the center of this fuchsia here that's dancing in front of us, and then there's the other one that's just here beside that. And I could bring a bit of purple into that one up there too before deciding what to do next. I think one of the things I want to do next is to subdue this. It's a bit dominant. That purple is a wee bit more powerful than I want, so I'm just going to print it off now. Okay. Yeah, it isn't all about the fuchsia this time. Okay, and I've got my oil pastels and chalk pastels, which I could maybe use the reds from. And I think I might put a daisy in there too, a white daisy, will I? I think I might. I don't know, or maybe I just need to do a little bit of explaining in there. I could just use this actually to begin to find the pattern on the jug. This is a blue oil pastel. It does feel a bit like a child in a sweet shop when you open up to a new material. It just arrives under your nose and you think, ah, I'm going to go in that direction for a while. And I think some grey. This feels like it's chalk, is it? No, it's oil pastel. So that'll allow me to make a little bit more of the pattern that's there. I think I need a lighter grey. Lighter grey. Well, this is a darker grey. Maybe I needed a darker grey here and there. Okay. That's okay. And now I think the yeah, get my bright chalk pastels. Maybe actually that might be the business there. I was going to get this color in chalk pastel, but I thought maybe actually what's needed there is more collage piece so that it really clearly stands alone, that tabletop. That's okay there. And I have another wee bit that I can establish something over here. I don't know where the white came from. It's snow. Snow has stopped falling outside now, but there was snow falling earlier. Ah, so there we are. I've christened my painting top with white snow. That's that. And I think I'll use the white paint again to establish more clearly what I know to be the shape of these fuchsia. I'm looking at the card, the picture on the card as I'm painting here. And I'm finding the bright background colour as a way of explaining the shape of the flowers. I'll take some from here because it's a bit thick there, and I'm going to put some here. This feels good. Glad to be doing this. Might have a walk then later on. I was outdoors earlier and the sun was so beautiful on the snow. Hugely inspiring. Feels a little bit like I remember in my the beach beside where we grew up. You know, the snow reminded me of the reflection on the water there and the brightness and good medicine of that. In fact, the reflection of the sun there in Harbourview Beach, it also reflects off the ripples in the sand. When the tide is out, it goes really far out on that beach. There's a long way to walk to get to the sea, and but the little holes that are made by the waves as they retreat, it's really lovely. And the waves leave some water. The sea leaves some water in these little holes, and so there's all these wavy ripples in the sand that reflect the sky. And that, to me, that's one of those beautiful things that causes my heart to sing a little bit. And today I felt that with the sun sparkling on the snow, and I threw some snow up in the air and let it fall like jewels around me, and it really did, and it caught the sunlight. If you're able to do that, do that. Go outside, pick up some snow and chuck it up in the air above your head, and then see as the sunlight catches it what happens. It's just that's a kind of magical thing, actually. It's a magical feeling. I'm really grateful for that. I mustn't let these little moments slip by, because they're the thing that make up a life, really, aren't they? Those little moments of full and complete joy with things. And there was no setup there. I didn't know in advance. That's how it was such a lovely gift somehow to be surprised by that. It's a bit like going in the sea. Every time it's arresting, it's newly arresting, that kind of, oh my God. I mean, yeah, it's a complete jolt physically, but it's also got some sort of magical quality that makes you feel so fully alive. That's what I love about that. Cold water swimming. Cold shower isn't far off the same thing, to be honest. It kind of almost gets you there too. I want to bring some of the red into the gerbera just to kind of continue that brightness around the image. Okay, I'm gonna stop fairly soon, I reckon. I find myself kind of asking the question, is it enough? And I think we very, very frequently err on the side of making things too much because we think they're not enough. I know I do that. Maybe, I think my friend, we had a conversation about this, about presents actually. My friend John and I were talking about buying presents and feeling, is it enough? And in the end, it's more to do with us ourselves feeling like we're maybe not enough. Anyway, so this thing of wanting more, like in aiming for more and more and more. I had a glass of wine the other night, speaking of which, and actually I didn't overdo it because I did enjoy every single bit of it, but I could see how it's possible to overdo that. Alright. And then there's a certain fine-tuning that's a good, necessary thing. So it's just a leap of faith, really. You just kind of have to trust that the enough that you choose to stop at is enough. Is enough. And I feel sometimes we have to push that boundary in order to know what enough is for us. I'm still pushing that boundary in life regularly, missing the mark and going over. Certainly with food over Christmas anyway. I was just testing what my boundary was there. Okay, you see this yellow's coming in because I'm seeing the sunny yellow fuchsia leaves. Oh, I remember that day in the studio. It's so nice to have a memory of making a picture and the quality of light that was there at the time. Okay, so I'm going to leave the flowers now. And that was, when I say it, quality of light, that day the sun was catching the fuchsia in the window of the studio, and like, speaking of jewels and the snow and all that, that was a whole jewel-like thing that I was experiencing that day. I'm looking in See what I'm looking at now, my box of treats here, because I'm wanting to put something in the tabletop. That's quite a dark version. And there's that one, and then there's a more turquoisey one. Okay, so I think it's a toss-up of these three. So let me just try them and see. I think maybe the dark one I could put here. Lift the tabletop a little. It's interesting working without having any stimulus really in front of me. I used to always resist that, thinking I could never do it justice if I was making it all up. I mean, I'm not making it all up, but you know, this for example is purely because I feel like I want to just put some blue there. Whereas in the past I would have needed to see something blue there, and I would almost fabricate something like stick a new plant in to make the blue happen. Whereas now I'm giving myself the license, and I'm really glad to have it, to just allow my intuition to be the guide at times and see what happens out of that. Okay, I think there might be one more spot. I was thinking that earlier. I need to check this, but I'll be doing a flower painting course online and starting in February. I think it's the 7th of February we start, but don't quote me on that now. And it runs for 6 weeks, and we'll be doing this kind of thing. The watercolour portraiture one, as far as I'm aware, is full, and that starts in January, the 24th of January. For those of you who are booked onto that, I'll see you there. And I'll be sending out the materials list and everything. I need to get up cracking on that, really. So this is the blue pattern for the jug. No, there's a chance here that I'll just keep going, and it's unnecessary. Just trying to find the spot. You see, if I take a while to put things away, it's because I'm aiming to keep these chalks as pristine a condition as they arrive to me in. That's a bit of a high aim now, so I'm not going to do that, but I'm doing my best to put them back. If not in the right places, at least to put them back in the foam. It's gorgeous bright red. They're great for the final. You have to clinch the deal. These chalk pastels are just the business, because they really bring out the brightness. Like if I was to put a bit there now, it's like the Haywain, you know, Constable's Haywain, that bright flash of red in the midst of all the green, and how green and red excite each other. So they, being opposites on the colour wheel, they enhance one another. Okay. And the thing I wanted to do finally was to subdue somehow the bottom of the jug. I feel like it's just a little bit, this bit here seems to be standing out a bit too much for me. So I'm just going to get a darker, no, this is soft pastel, so it's struggling to work over what's there. I think it's doing it. That's all right. I'll actually just use my thumb now, my dirty thumb, and maybe some ultramarine blue paint, and just squish it over. Just to settle that back a little bit. And what do I want to do? I know, I want to get that colour that I used for the tabletop and establish it here again. So I lost a little bit the structure of the jug there. And I lost a little bit the structure when I put in the white over here. I think also we maybe need a little bit of white here too. So I'm just using the soft pastel here. Bring some white into that side. Don't want it to all become too samey though. Going back to the overdoing thing. I think I might stop. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. So there it is, as much as you can see it. And there's the carry-on all over the kitchen. There's a bit of a mess here. Clear up. Oh gosh, I hurt my knee. Okay. Right, so that was fun. Thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll do something every day if I can, because as I say, it's good. It's good medicine for me and good to connect with you, and certainly revisiting paintings that are half done and making something new happen. Very satisfying, because there's no pressure. It's already just chopped in the corner kind of thing. So whatever happens will be fresh and new, and it'll allow you, some learning will happen. I want to turn you around there because I ended up putting up those two that I did the last 2 days. Those are the 2 tulips that I kept calling fuchsia for some reason. So it's good. It feels good to be back making a mess again in my home, and it feels good to be in touch with you, and let's stay in touch now for this year. I'll see if I can do a newsletter. Actually, I think I'll do a newsletter. Maybe I'll write it today. I know that it's usually quite a good thing to connect with you before, to send out a newsletter before the new year. Yeah, anyway, right. I'm just noticing the mess around here. That's they're the colours, that's not anything. I was thinking, yeah, okay. Right, I'm going to stop talking. Alright, thanks very much. Those of you who regularly tune in, nice to see you. Those of you who are new, nice to see you too. And don't judge me on the mess behind me. Or do if you want, I don't care. Alright, all the best.